In this lesson, we thought we'd help you blow away some of the myths that are circulating out there. The lay the first set winner strategy is so popular that it tends to get all sorts of claims made about it happens all the time and you'll always make money and your profits are always higher than your losses, which is true if you get out halfway through the second set. They make all sorts of claims about, it happens 50% of the time and blah, blah, blah. And we've already shown you that actually the data doesn't support that at all. It's at best about a third in an unfiltered process. In other words, if you just simply wait for the first set to be completed and then lay whoever that was, you would only win at about a third of the time. And there's a few other myths out there that we'll share with you, and basically we're just crunching the data. We don't believe a word that most people say until we go off and analyse it ourselves and work it out. So one of those very popular myths is that women play more three-set matches than men. Actually, no, they don't. What's true, and I think this is where the myth has come from, is that service games are lost more frequently in the women's game because the serve is not as strong as the men's. But actually, when you compare the sets, they're almost the same. So it isn't true that women play more three-set matches than men, so it doesn't really matter whether you're looking at a WTA match or an ATP one. Another myth is that if the first set is either a 6-love or 6-1, then there is a high chance it will be a three-set match. Now, why is that even valid as a statement there? It's valid because typically what you're talking about there is when the favourite has lost the first set, 6-love, 6-1, there's a high chance that they'll make a comeback and therefore it will be a three-set match. But actually, when you crunch the data with both men and women's games for the last 2 complete years, 2019, 2021, only 17% of matches with either a 6-love or 6-1 first set score went to 3 sets. Interestingly, when we looked at all different scores of the first sets, and there was really no difference anywhere else. But surprisingly, at 7-5 or 7-6, about 29%, almost a third, did go to 3 sets. So it's interesting how these myths get created and circulate. One other one is that your risk is lower if you lay the first set winner compared to backing the first set loser. Actually, the payout is exactly the same. Where this comes from, why people love laying the first set winner, is because let's say the odds are 1.5 again and you put £100 stake, your risk is £50. But if you were to back at 1.5, you would only win 50 quid and you'd be risking 100. And you go, oh, that's not good. Yeah, it isn't good. But in the reality of trading in it at the same time in this match, the odds level themselves up. So if we look at an example here, we've got a match where the underdog has won the first set and their odds have dropped to 1.4. Well, that means that the favourites' odds have shot up, and to level it out, which is what the odds do, ignoring BETFAIR commissions and stuff, the favourites' odds here to back them would go up to about 3.7. So if we just run through how we would trade that, so we would place a stake of, let's say, £50 at 1.4, which means we're risking £20. And they lose the second set, so the underdog's odds go back up to where they were at the start of the match, 2.6 in this case. Then the profit, we'd hedge at that point and get a profit of £23. And that, when you look at what you were risking, 20, to receive 23, is a profit of 115%. It's 115 because obviously you're getting the whole 20 plus the £3 on top. Now, if we'd backed the favourite at 3.7, we wouldn't use the same stake value. We wouldn't need to. We'd use 20 because that's what we want to risk, because that's what we're risking on the lay trade. And if you backed the player at 3.7 for £20, and then when they won the second set and their odds dropped to around about 1.7, you would win, surprise, surprise, £23. And therefore the sort of return on risk is about the same. So it doesn't matter whether you back the first set loser or lay the first set winner. It's entirely up to you. But obviously what you're going to do is make sure that the stake value on your back trade is the same as your potential loss, your risk, if you like, on the lay trade. So both players have the same payout ratio. There is no difference to laying the first set winner or backing the first set loser. And so some final thoughts. As we've shown here, we crunch data You can do this as well. This is not rocket science we're doing here. We're simply getting the data which is freely available. So if you go to Google or whatever, just use a search term of completed WTA, ATP matches, CSV, something like that. You'll find them freely available that you can download in a spreadsheet format and just play around with it. Look for patterns, look for what makes sense to you and see if you can learn any trends in that data. Go to the websites that we've suggested already that provide data analysis, so player stats. There's quite a few websites here, obviously the WTA, ATP, Flash Score we've already mentioned, Tennis Explorer is another one, Ultimate Tennis Statistics. There's quite a lot of them when you start searching for this data, but the key thing here is to start doing some work to improve your match selection so that you getting a better win rate of the sort of average of 35%. Discover a trading strategy that works for you. We've given you some suggestions throughout this, but do try out different ideas of how to exit the trade and when to enter. So find a comfortable trading style so that you don't lose control, you stay positive and you're well within your comfort zone. And that will depend obviously how you prefer to trade, whether you're risk averse or risk tolerant. And always ensure that your losses per trade are lower than your winnings per trade. Earlier on we said a target to aim for is about 50%. And that's true over all your trades as an overall average, but that doesn't mean every single match you're aiming for 50. You're aiming for as low as possible, but sometimes that's just not possible. Keep control of your trades, record them, and make sure that over a period of time that your losses are averaging around about 50% of your profits on a per trade basis. Forgive me for an out-and-out sales message here, but it's blindingly obvious. Match Alert is a service that we offer which basically does all of this for you apart from trading. So you still got to trade the matches, but what we're doing here is we're selecting the matches by analysing player stats, any head-to-head match results, history, their ranking and their current odds. And once Match Select has found those matches on a daily basis, it then tracks them through. And when the player that shouldn't win the first set wins the first set, a text alert is sent. It will tell you this is the player that you need to place a lay trade on. And then it's up to you. So you use the information in this course to trade the way that you want, but it means that you don't have to, A, do a lot of research to find the matches, and B, you don't have to hang around waiting for the first set. Because in many, many cases, you just find out that the other player won it. And, I've just wasted half an hour of my time. And also the matches never start on time either. You'll know that already. So Match Alert is more efficiency for you. It can make your trading far more efficient, far more productive. And of course, as we shared along the way, the results of Match Alert are that instead of getting a win rate of 35%, it tends to average around about 54, 55%. And if you are interested in trading the third set as well to make more money, then with Match Alert matches, typically the second set winner will go on to win the match around about 70% of the time. And as each alert only costs from about 40p, depends what you're trading, but really that's not a lot of money. But anyway, to begin with, I suggest you do your own research, your own homework. You get used to trading this strategy, and when you get to a point you think, I quite like this is something I'd like to do because I can make money doing this, because remember, it's the biggest swing in any strategy in tennis trading. But what you want to do is spend less time researching and finding the matches. You just want to be alerted when the first set's over, and therefore Match Alert will help you out in those cases. I hope that's been helpful for you, and I wish you well in your trading.